You see the award on your screen right now? Yeah, it's called the Ballon d'Or, and it is an absolute joke, and it has no credibility anymore, and I mean zero credibility. So over the past several years, the Ballon d'Or has literally been losing whatever credibility it actually had. And I mean, there have been some controversial decisions in the past, but I mean in like the past 5 years, most of them have been controversial decisions that a lot of people didn't really agree with. So really every year the Ballon d'Or has been losing credibility quicker than Juventus's credibility to all the Serie A titles they've won. So yeah, to be honest, personally, I don't really take any notice of it anymore, especially after what happened this year, and with how the voting to me personally doesn't really make any sense anyway. So it just seems like an award where people get like really favourable voting, to be honest. And then also a big thing that I've always said is the context really isn't taken into account, and secondly, it's not really based off who the best player in the world is. It's based off like the best story, which doesn't mean you're the best player in the world. So a really annoying thing that I find as well is with the Ballon d'Or is that literally the criteria will change based off who's like in the award. So this year is a prime example of that. However, I will get to that later. So really, since 2018, there's been a massive, and I mean a massive disagreement on who the winner should have been. So going through these, in 2018, the winner was Luka Modric, and a lot of people thought it should have been Cristiano Ronaldo. So if we're being honest, the only reason Modric really won that award was because Croatia got to the final of the World Cup, and Modric did win the Champions League, but also Ronaldo won the Champions League. He more or less had the best season he could, and Ronaldo was literally the main guy in the Champions League, which previously would have won him the Ballon d'Or. But I do remember hearing that there were some rumours that the Real Madrid president was a bit annoyed that Ronaldo left Real Madrid, so he may have had an impact on that, and Modric won it. But most people think Ronaldo should have won it back in 2018 because he was the guy at Real Madrid and he just took them through everything. And I mean, yeah, Modric got to the World Cup final, but that shouldn't really have been as much of a factor as it was. So going on to the next season, in 2019, Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or, and a lot of people thought Virgil van Dijk should have won it. This one was less controversial than 2018. However, Van Dijk basically had the season of his life and probably the best defender season in probably a decade or two. So I kind of agree with it, to be honest. It should have been Van Dijk, and Messi kind of just had a normal Messi season and he won. I'm pretty sure he just won La Liga. He might have won a cup as well. But also with Van Dijk, he was like impossible to get past. He was as good of a defender as he could have been. So the fact that he didn't win literally shows that the Ballon d'Or is just an attacker's award. Defenders and goalkeepers have zero chance of winning the award because Van Dijk put up the best season possible, obviously without winning the trophies, which, you know, Messi didn't really win those trophies either. So yeah, I think 2019 was pretty controversial as well. Then in 2020, it was cancelled. So a lot of people think it shouldn't have been cancelled, which I don't really get why it was cancelled either, because it was like you could have just handed the award out just because of COVID doesn't mean you have to cancel the award. So a lot of people thought Robert Lewandowski should have won that award, and to be honest, this one I do agree, because it's like he had a monster season again, and I think this is when Bayern Munich did win the Champions League. I'm not entirely sure if they won the Champions League, but I think he scored like 40 odd goals in the Bundesliga as well. And I know that the Bundesliga isn't the best season, or the best league in the world, but scoring 40 goals in a league season, that is very impressive. So yeah, I think he should have got the Ballon d'Or there. Also, so he scored 34 goals that season. I'm pretty sure he's a top goal scorer in the Champions League with 15, and he got 55 goals overall in 47 games. So yeah, I think he was the clear winner in that one. And then 2021, Lionel Messi won it again, and some people think Lewandowski should have won it, but this one was a lot less controversial. But there were still quite a few people that think Lewandowski should have won it this time. This time he did get 41 goals in the Bundesliga, winning another Bundesliga title, 48 in total in just 40 games. So he only played 40 games this season. That's probably why he didn't get 50 goals in this season. But yeah, some people think he should have won it over Messi. Messi had another Messi-like season. Not really much to say with this one here. And then in 2022, Karim Benzema won the Ballon d'Or, and this was the first one, probably since 2017, when people were like, yep, okay, he deserved it. He had a monster season. He had the best season of his career, and he won the Champions League. So no really qualms about that one. And then this season, 2023, Lionel Messi won it again, and a lot of people think Erling Haaland should have won it. To be honest, most people who know anything about football think Haaland should have won it. So I'm going to go over that one in a bit in the video. So this has caused a lot of football fans really to not take the award seriously. And when I say a lot, I mean most football fans didn't even know that the ceremony was on, when it was on, what time it was on. Also, this this is how out of favour the Ballon d'Or's fallen right now. Ronaldo put an Instagram comment with 4 laughing faces, and that was just as big as the Ballon d'Or ceremony. So yeah, that shows how much it's fallen. However, this year also exposed a major inconsistency in the voting, because usually if you win a treble and score 50 goals in a season, that's good enough to win the Ballon d'Or. However, they just for some reason put so much more importance on the World Cup this year, so there's no consistency in the voting with the Ballon d'Or. It's really based off who people want to win out of the candidates instead of what they've actually done. And then in 2022, some changes were actually made to the Ballon d'Or in like the time frame of when the voting would like count from, so what stats would count in which like area. So usually the performances will be based on January to December, so on that actual calendar year. However, this was actually changed from August to the July of the next year, so it was changed from a yearly basis to a seasonal basis. So now really this was only done to actually include the World Cup in the voting, because the World Cup was in December, so they were giving it out, I think they were giving it out in December, so it would have missed the World Cup. That's what was announced, and to be honest, I'm just like, whether that was the case or not, doing it on a seasonal basis over the actual yearly basis, I don't really get it, because like you've been doing it on a yearly basis for so long, and now you've literally just changed it. It's like it literally makes 0 sense. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like they're changing things to benefit certain players. So getting on to the 2023 Ballon d'Or, there were 3 main candidates, and those were Lionel Messi, Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. So just going through the candidates, Kylian Mbappe, playing for PSG and France, scored a total of he played 61 games, scored 57 goals, 14 assists. So he had 71 goal contributions because of this, and he ended up winning the Ligue 1 title and the French Super Cup title. He also ended up being Ligue 1 Player of the Season, and alongside this he also won the World Cup Golden Boot, so a very, very good resume for that season. Obviously his performance in the World Cup, going to the final, 57 goals, 14 assists in 61 games, very, very impressive. 57 goals and 14 assists in the season is always going to get you in the Ballon d'Or voting. I think he could have finished second. However, this is really very much based off opinion. There's much to say here. It's a very, very good season. Could have finished anywhere in the top 3. So the next candidate we move on to is Lionel Messi, who played for PSG, Inter Miami and Argentina. So in this season, he played 56 games, scored 41 goals, got 26 assists, which equals 67 goal contributions. And then Messi ended up winning the Liga title, the French Super Cup, same as Mbappe, and he also won that prestigious World Cup that I'm going to admit was very, very controversial. So take with that what you will. And that can weigh in as much as you want it to. He also ended up winning the World Cup Golden Ball, so that's like the player of the tournament for the World Cup. So yeah, this is once again a brilliant season, but I struggle to see how this season is really that much better than Mbappe's. Mbappe played more games, he scored a lot more goals. Yes, he got less assists, but he did also get more goal contributions. The only thing Messi really has over Mbappe is the World Cup, which, let's be honest, if you're basing your votes off how a player played for a month in a yearly award, I think you really need to have a look at what a yearly award is and who the best player in the world is over a year's span. Over that month, Messi was easily the best player in the world, but he really did nothing for PSG, and then he went to Inter Miami. He went to the MLS. So while I do think this is a very, very good resume for the season, I honestly don't really see how you can put him any higher than third, if I'm being brutally honest. He deserves to easily be in the top 5. I would probably say I would have put him in the top 3. Probably would have put him third. But yeah, even though it was a very good season, I think this is really based too much off how well he did in the World Cup, which it shouldn't be, because that's only for 6 weeks of the year. So moving on to the final candidate, Erling Haaland, who played for Manchester City and Norway. Obviously didn't play in the World Cup. That obviously really, really hurt him, which I don't know why. So in total, he played 57 games, got 56 goals and 9 assists, which equals 65 goal contributions. And he ended up winning the treble, so he won the Champions League, the Premier League and the FA Cup. Haaland also ended up winning the PFA Player of the Year, the UEFA Best Player in Europe. He went on to win the Premier League Golden Boot, and he also broke the record for the most goals scored in a Premier League season. So if I'm being brutally honest, how that doesn't win you a Ballon d'Or, I have no idea. The voting in this has to be so biased for Haaland to come anywhere but first. I mean, 56 goals, 9 assists. He won the treble, PFA Player of the Year. He also won UEFA Best Player in Europe. All I'm going to say is this sounds a lot like what Messi and Ronaldo were doing through that decade where they were winning the Ballon d'Or every year. So the fact that Haaland didn't win the Ballon d'Or, all because, let's be honest, he wasn't in the World Cup or he didn't do well in the World Cup, shows just how inconsistent the voting is. And it really does justify why people don't take this award seriously, and they haven't taken the award seriously in a while, because certain players aren't going to win the award in a World Cup year because they're not in the World Cup, even though they put up at least 60 goals in a season and win a treble. So if you really don't have Haaland winning the Ballon d'Or, then I don't really understand how you can have Messi winning 8 Ballon d'Ors, considering that this is his first World Cup, and in 2010 Xavi and Iniesta were in the top 3 but they didn't win it, and then in 2014 Neuer didn't win it, and then in 2018 Mbappe didn't win it. So if you see what I mean, there's a massive inconsistency in the voting, and there's clearly favouritism towards certain players, and really the Ballon d'Or this year completely exposed that. So obviously I think Haaland should have won the award, like most people. It's really a no-brainer. Messi winning his 8th Ballon d'Or has literally just turned a lot of people off this award, and has completely killed its credibility purely because of the circumstances. Everyone was like, yeah, they gave it to him because he won the World Cup, which makes no sense because that's only 6 weeks out of the year. That's a month and a half out of the year. So how can you give someone a yearly best player in the world award because they played great for a month, and then Haaland was playing great for more or less the full 12 months? So yeah, that's my little rant on the Ballon d'Or. Let me know what you think about the award down in the comments, and who do you think should have won the Ballon d'Or this year? Leave all that down in the comments. If you agree with me, leave a like on the video, so I know that I'm not the only one who thinks like this. And yeah, so thank you for listening to the video, and hopefully you don't disagree with me too much, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.